got one message tonight. We can do this. We can win, Griffith, and we can win the next election. And it is a privilege to be here in Morningside tonight with all of you. How quickly can a Prime Minister be whitewashed only months after an election that they don't even put him on the how to vote card? But even though the LNP are desperate to say this is a local election, as if it's a council ward election, in fact, it is not. The issues are local. The issues are local. The job cuts at the PA hospital, the bed closures, the defunding of Queensland arts institutions, the attack on advocacy groups in this state, the challenge of Medicare and a $6 GP tax will affect local residents. And what we need is someone who won't simply rubber stamp Tony Abbott's changes or Campbell Newman's changes. This is what this election is about. That the cynical government can, before the election, pretend to be on a unity ticket on education, then after the election, try it on and cut funding to our schools. We say no to that. In this by-election, we say no to the secrecy and the lack of transparency about what's happening on our borders. In this by-election, we say very clearly that disability pensioners, people on the carers pension, are not the first port of call when you want to restructure an economy. Do not pick on the vulnerable, on the disempowered and the weakest in our community. Labor will protect these people because that's what Labor does.
Now we are all here tonight for one reason, and that's because we want a strong voice for the people of Griffith. I've had literally thousands of conversations in this campaign so far. People are saying to me they don't want Tony Abbott and Campbell Newman to have another rubber stamp. They don't want another person in Canberra who does nothing but apologise and justify and make excuses for Tony Abbott and Campbell Newman. And make no mistake, that's exactly what we'll have if Bill Glasson is elected at this by-election. And I'm not going to stand by while Tony Abbott rips Medicare to shreds. We all know that a GP tax is the beginning of undermining our universal healthcare system. The universal healthcare system that people in this room built, the universal healthcare system that workers in this room supported, the universal healthcare system that Labor has always stood up for and the LNP has always tried to knock. 68 bed closures at the PA, 69 nursing jobs going at the PA, outsourcing at the PA. These cuts directly affect local services and local families, and we should not stand for it. Bill Glasson didn't stand up for our community about these cuts. Bill Glasson defended them. Bill Glasson said, my job as an MP is to explain these cuts. Explain why Can-Do did what Can-Do did. Well, I'm going to tell you that is not the job of an MP. The job of an MP is to stand up for the people that they represent and not to be an apologist for attacks on services and cuts to services. As a working mum, I'm not going to stand by while Tony Abbott and Bill Glasson rip away childcare worker pay rises in an industry where retention and quality are actually key to delivering childcare places. This is an industry where workers are leaving in droves, and that directly affects parents' abilities to go to work. Our nation needs to help people get into the workforce. Our nation needs to remove obstacles to work, and childcare is an important part of that. Everyone in this room knows that Bill Glasson spent more than $1 million in the last campaign trying to convince us that he's not a politician, that he's a nice guy. Now, we all know that's not true. He's a liberal national politician through and through.
And he's not a nice guy.
He's a liberal national politician and he's a close friend of Tony Abbott. He describes himself that way. And he's shown that he will back Will he stand up for principle? No, he will back whatever Tony Abbott and Campbell Newman want him to when it comes to cuts. We live in a fantastic area, but friends, not everyone who lives here, I'm going to tell you a secret, not everyone who lives here is a committed Labor voter. I know it's hard to We need to persuade them and win their trust. We need to do that. Now, the reason we can do that, look at the difference between us and the LNP. Last night, I was at a community meeting in Billimba. Everyone who was there talked about Shane Sutton. She's a local Labor councillor. Everyone knew her, everyone thought she was great, everyone knew if you had a problem you could go to her and she would work with you. The LNP state member's name came up, no one had really met him. And that's the difference between us and them. That is the difference, my friends. We are active in our community, not because we have to be, but because we genuinely care about communities. I'm proud to stand as a Labor candidate, and I'm ready to serve our community with vigour and passion. I'm proud to stand here with Bill Shorten, unlike my opponent, who seems to be hiding Tony Abbott from the view of Griffith voters. And for good reason. To outline the stark choice between Labor and the LNP in this by-election. I'm determined to make this by-election count for the people of Griffith. I'm determined to make the contest count, and I know that I can count on every single one of you. Thank you very much.